Hello and welcome back to the Innovate Eco podcast and the Startup Diaries. This is the podcast where we are building our brand, No Longer Known, our Planet Positive fashion company right here on this podcast, and we are documenting it as we go, the highs, the lows, and we are going to hopefully talk about what were tips, and you'll be able to, yeah. What was that? I'm very tired. Hopefully it'll be fun to follow along if you're building a business of your own, or if you just are a fan of entrepreneurship or ecopreneurship, then hopefully this will be useful. It's certainly been useful so far for us, I think, in getting us going and keeping up the momentum. And I'm here, as always, with my co-host and co-founder, Matt. How's it going?
Good, yeah. I thought I was quite tired, but then you seem to put everything in perspective for me.
Yeah, this is the main reason we do this podcast, is to make you feel less tired.
How
Yeah,
how are you? Why are you so tired?
yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, 9-month old in the house. It's my 9-month old. It's a random one that's moved in. Uh,
Lodger.
yeah, but he's teething at the moment.
Um,
He's 1 second he'll be really happy, and then the next second he just loses his mind. So
oh,
it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster because, like, you think, oh, everything's going fine, and then all of a sudden he'll just go mad. Makes the days that little bit longer and slightly less time to kind of relax and recharge, and then also slightly less time. Well, the nights are a bit more chaotic, so less sleep, which means getting up early to work on No Longer Known and the podcast and things is a bit more challenging, but we keep going. But yeah, it's just, I mean, any parents out there that are listening, I'm sure you'll be aware that it's one of those, you just 1 minute it's all going swimmingly, and then the next minute something happens and you've got less time and less energy. So yeah, I should probably maybe, I've thought about sharing a bit more on that side of things. I'm thinking about starting a newsletter alongside this, where just, again, just I feel like I miss blogging a bit, even though blogging is a little bit old school. Just, I like the podcast form, but like sharing some more just things that I'm thinking about in written format. And one of them was going to be the challenges of trying to build a business whilst also trying to build a child.
yes, nature's business.
Exactly. So you say you're tired as well? You're busy?
Well, my child brackets cat has also been up to no good, and she's been quite ill this last week, so that's been quite stressful for me.
Mm.
It hasn't affected my sleep. It kind of did affect my sleep actually, when it was really bad.
Yeah.
It was stressing me out, and I wasn't sleeping as well. But I don't think it's quite the same as your situation.
I mean, is she on the mend?
She is finally on the mend. She's actually sat on my lap
Hooray.
now, which is nice. Yeah,
Oh, well, I'll send my regards.
but yeah, it's that whole thing of like, she basically had a virus, and because of that, like, wasn't eating. So that then like made everything even worse, eating or drinking. And that's the thing that you can't just explain, even if you don't want to eat. It's gonna be make everything so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, cats are a little bit like babies in the way that they can't explain. Like, it's really sad when they're like ill, because you're like, you can't tell me what's wrong. You just look
Yeah,
sad and look ill. And yeah, that is kind of similar in that way. So yeah, I completely get it. It's, yeah, not nice, but good to hear she's on the mend.
yes, thanks.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about this week?
Well, I was good. Before we get onto that, I was going to say that what I've also been busy with is I appeared on another podcast, first podcast talking about No Longer Known, as part of, we think we talked about this last time, didn't we? Doing more
Mm,
outward bound marketing and being a bit more creative, not just creating ads and doing social posts, which is
wasn't
what I
there
want
a
to talk about. But yeah,
isn't there a what was it? There was a word for it that you said last time that I've forgotten.
it's like audience hacking, or like if you can call
Mm,
it fame hacking if it's like a
yeah,
famous
yeah.
person. It's just, yeah, just trying to like pivot off other people's audiences to grow your own. It's called the Grand Challenger podcast, so keep an eye out. I'll put a link in the description. And yeah, it's not out yet, but the episode will be out, I think, in a few weeks' time. And it was really fun. Yeah, the host Peter was really nice, and it's the podcast concept is a little bit similar to Innovate Eco, but he interviews people that are taking on big challenges, usually in the sustainability space, and a lot of them could be academics. It's not just people building businesses, but they are on there as well. So yeah, it was good fun. It's long form, so it was like an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes of chatting about not just about No Longer Known, about me and other stuff, but then a good chunk about the No Longer Known story. And I think it was interesting for me because there was bits where I was talking about my career and then other bits and bobs, and then I could tell my energy really like lifted, and I was more enthusiastic when I got to the No Longer Known stuff and talking about that. So I think that was a good sign.
What did he offer any interesting insight?
What do you mean insights? Like tips for what we should do?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess that's maybe not the point of the podcast, but
Well, he liked the idea and signed up to the launch list. So thank you,
nice.
Peter, if you're listening. But yeah, I think we discussed around everything we've discussed previously about the challenges we're trying to tackle and how the mission is broadened to be more than just about the species, even though that's still at the core, but also things around AI art and creating things that have more meaning and in a world of abundance, and talked about scarcity and how we're trying to make that work and do things a little bit differently. So yeah, I won't give away too much. I'll let people listen to the full episode. But it's just nice to talk it through, do the elevator pitch, do the origin story, and I think I'm going to reach out and try and do a few more podcasts. Or if there's anyone out there listening who's got a podcast, then I would. Oh yeah, Matt, I'm sure you could do one as well. But I quite enjoy it, so I quite like the opportunity, and if it leads to a little bit more audience growth and stuff. And I'm going to get Peter's actually just quit academia to launch his own business. So I'm going to interview him for the podcast. So a little bit of a podcast swap, which is pretty fun as well. So yeah, what I want to talk about today is building on what we've talked about in a few episodes previously, and it's about social audience building, social content, trying to do content on Instagram and stuff. And so I was getting a little bit frustrated from a couple of videos and just thinking like, there's no real strategy behind this, kind of just doing stuff and throwing it out there. So I thought there's got to be loads of courses on short form video now. So I had a little browse and look on Instagram and stuff and found one. And I took the course, did the whole course. It was only like a short course of, I think it took me about 4 or 5 hours of videos and little exercises and stuff. And yeah, it was interesting. And I feel like I learned a lot. And it was one of those moments where a lot of it was quite common sense, I guess, in terms of why stuff works. But there were lots of good tips and tricks in there. But I think my overall feeling was like, I guess the course was designed their whole sale was, well, we can make viral content in any niche. Like that was their like pitch.
Right.
And I guess it made me realize that if doing it as a business is very tricky, and there's definitely certain types of content, particularly on TikTok and Instagram, that do well. And yeah, made me feel maybe a little bit deflated by the end, because like, oh yeah, great. If you want to just make I feel like I could go out and build a channel of things that go viral now, but maybe it wouldn't be useful.
Are they all just memes?
It's like, let me find my notes from the course. So there was interesting points around like the structure, like how you get, why videos get shared more widely, what the algorithm's looking for, things like that. And a lot of it was like about like, let me find my notes. Yeah, so it's this like this idea of pull content and push content. So you start with pull content, which is designed for a wider reach. It doesn't have any call to action. There's no like sales or anything like that. And it's meant to be like fit into one of a few categories, which are like either inspirational, entertainment, political, comedy, or heartwarming. That's basically it.
Okay.
Um, that's the pull content. And then once you've got a bit more of an audience, you can do what's called push content, which might have like some light call to action, but like comment in the something and for like a discount code or like, and they can be more educational or like stories or testimonial type videos. But the idea that what they were pushing was that type of content shouldn't be what you do at the start.
Yeah,
You
that
should
makes
really
sense.
focus on this like wide reach, wide funnel, and like treat it like a hypothesis and like just test loads of stuff and see what works and then refine it and test it, which we have talked about before. I think there's like this 3-act format that they talk about, which is pretty basic. It's the classic, just like hook or setup. There's some kind of conflict and then it's resolved. And the aim is to almost the best videos are the ones where you know sort of know the outcome straight away, but you still watch it anyway just to be verified.
Yeah.
I think like the one that they talk about on a lot is this. So the example video is the guy. He's like, "Can I cut this cheeseburger exactly in half?" And it's like a top-down image of a cheeseburger, and he's got a sword or something. And so you already know like what's going to happen. There's no like massive twist really. And then he just cuts it in half, and then he weighs the two halves, and then I think he doesn't quite get it, and then that's it, and it starts again. And that's another thing they talk about is like getting out before the audience, because you get rewarded if it starts again.
Yeah, I've noticed that
All these
so
weird things.
much where the video will start with what should be the last line of the video, and they basically cut the last line of the video and put it at the beginning, so you end up having to watch it again for it to make sense.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I
or
find
like
really
people put
weird.
loads of text that'll show up for like 2 seconds, so you have to keep watching it,
Yeah,
read the
yeah.
text. Yeah, so that all that stuff suddenly starts to make sense. And yeah, so I picked up some of it's like feels obvious once you hear it, but it's still useful to work through it and look at videos that work. And I'm trying to think of some other examples they showed. Like there was one like a different niche, which was a real estate agent, like who her channel is about. Yeah, she's trying to raise her profile as a real estate agent, and it's like you won't. She like stood outside a house, and it's like yeah, you won't believe how much this house is costs in this area or something. And then it's like she goes inside, and they're obviously waiting to find out how much it
Yeah.
costs. And so it's like again, just a little hook, and then trying to getting people to stay for the end, and then getting out before they decide to scroll on, right?
Can I cut this house in half?
Yeah, exactly. That would be the ultimate one. But then there's so much content like that, isn't there? And then the interesting thing about this course is you kind of get all these tips, and I was like, this is great. And they keep saying we can do this in any niche. And then at the end, they send you away with a workbook, and the homework essentially is to go and spend like however long on Instagram and TikTok, start a burner account so there's no history whatsoever, and then just scroll through until a video really catches you and captures your imagination and really works on you, and then just save that video. And it says to do it like 5 times, so you've got with like different kinds of video, and then you end up with 5 videos that might inspire you to go and make your own content that will work.
Right.
And the idea is that they like most people look within their own niche straight away. So our trap would be like looking for other accounts in the conservation niche, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're saying like, no, you should take inspiration from like completely random stuff
Right.
to see what works see what Instagram and TikTok like, and then try and use that format or use that idea in your content. So that led to me. I don't spend that long on those platforms usually, but that was quite a depressing like couple of hours of just scrolling through trying to find videos that weren't like
God.
unbearable.
Yeah. I remember like I set up a new Instagram account. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but yeah, like a new Instagram account. And then or maybe it was when I set up a TikTok account. So there was no history. And the first video that I saw was just like AI generated video of loads of nuclear explosions.
Right.
And all the comments were like, oh my God, where is this? I was like, that is the first video that was fed to me.
Yeah.
Was this horrible, like, yeah, AI bomb footage. Awful. And that kind of put me off the whole thing.
Yeah. So I've got I think I've got the sheet somewhere, but if I can remember the ones that jumped out, and then I was just sat there afterwards. There was one that was it's like you can see the first frame, you can see something running through long grass, and you're like, what is that? And then it gets closer and closer, and you're like, is that a cat wearing like a cowboy hat? And then it jumps up on a hay bale, and then it is a cat wearing a cowboy hat, and then it just starts again.
Okay. And what did
And
you
I
learn?
guess like you ask you to categorize them into those categories I talked about before, and it says like also like think about the kind of personas that people have who go on social media, which are either harmonizers who are emotionally like looking for like emotional content, thinkers who like logical content, persisters who are all about value, rebels who like humor.
That's me.
I feel like I get shown a lot of rebel content. Most things I get shown are humorous.
Yeah, me too.
Like I didn't know they're like a kind of balance between humor and emotion, I would say. Like there's like heartwarming and humor. Like that's what mostly I get shown. Imaginers like wonder, and then promoter likes charm. I don't know what these are, where they come from, but yeah, it's about like they say that interestingly around the world it differs like what people like. They say that in the West audiences to tend to be rebels, thinkers, and harmonizers primarily, which I thought was
That is
sort of
interesting.
interesting. I'm trying to remember which other videos I saved. Oh, there was one that was a guy. The first scene is I invited Hulk along to my 7-year-old's birthday party, and you can see like a guy like walking into shot in the background, dressed as the Incredible Hulk, like a really good costume. The video, I was starting thinking it's one of those ones where it's like it's going to be one of those cute videos with like about the reaction, and like the kid will like have a meltdown because they can't believe that Hulk's at their birthday, and like comes into shot and then like does a really comedy like trip and falls onto his back and like can't get up. And so it's like a bit of a fail video, I guess. And then it starts again. It was one where the reason I saved it is I watched it like 2 or 3 times because I was really couldn't understand how he fell over in such a
Uh,
dramatic fashion. So I was like wanting to see. So I guess that was an interesting thing. So even though these videos are ridiculous and nothing to do with our niche at all,
wow.
I was trying to make the most of this course and not get too depressed.
That Hulk,
Work out, yeah, what we could actually use.
he could have been wearing a No Longer Known t-shirt. That cat could have been wearing a No Longer Known hat.
Yeah.
Cowboy hat.
Yeah, I mean that's one angle. Just have really subtle branding in there.
Yeah. What did you learn from those? The structure,
I
potentially.
think yeah, it's like the length of the videos. They're always like the best ones that do it the best. Really, on the whole, are quite short and are watchable like a couple of times. They've got something in that make you want to watch it again. The music and things is quite often used quite well in some of the better ones, like little camera zooms, like when they're
Oh, yeah.
better produced, just to like draw you in. That whole thing about the like text on the screen saying like doing a lot of the heavy lifting, so it's not about the audio in case because like some ridiculous percentage of people don't have the audio on
Yeah.
when they're scrolling through. So things like that. And yeah, I don't know. Like that's I did leave me feeling a little bit lost and like, oh god, I still don't know where to go. I've got a few ideas, maybe around. Well, I don't think we can. I don't really want to like go into the humor. I don't. I've seen like some other channels like from conservation organisations that have gone all in on the humor,
Yeah, didn't we
and
talk
it'll be
about
like a silly animal, like, and then they've like commenting over it, or like a pigeon doing like a funny, and it's like they've gone all in on
Yeah,
the comedy. I don't think it would really. It'll be a bit of a departure from what we've been doing, I
it is
think.
interesting. Did we talk about the RSPB?
Yeah.
They're basically a meme account,
Mm.
but I guess it kind of works for them. They're like trying to get people interested and like maybe get younger people interested as an angle. It maybe makes sense and not necessarily selling a product.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
yeah,
I think for me, what feels more natural is the wonder, the kind of
yeah,
thinker and archetype more than the rebel archetype. Like I do like naturally like trend towards humor in most things that I do, but it
same.
just doesn't feel. It would feel like I don't know. It just wouldn't feel like a good fit for No Longer Known for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah, I think I agree. I think there's a lot of, I mean, a lot of it, a lot of the whole mission is about making people aware of amazing things that they might not be aware of. So I feel like there's a lot of wonder to draw from in, I don't know, just talking about animals and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm imagining I'm going to test this one. I'd like to get your thoughts, but like image of interesting animal no one's heard of, and then maybe like zooming into where like a map of where they're found in the wild and something like that, like a quite quick videos that when you're scrolling, people will be like, "What's that?" Or like, yeah,
How do you imagine it would start? And yeah, I feel like there needs to be like a hooky first line that's like, you won't believe this animal's something.
yeah, like you won't believe this is an AI, or this is yeah, is this AI? Yes or no?
Well, I actually saw I
So
saw,
that is also on that note, like they say in this course, like test loads of stuff, and once you find a formula that works, just double down on that. So
oh
this guy who
really?
cuts things in half, like he has a whole account where he just cuts stuff in half, and like it does really really well, and people like. So, and I don't know if you've ever come across the woman who just does like ridiculous impressions, and people just request her to do impressions, but it'll be like the Tesco like checkout, and she'll just listen to it once and then do like a perfect impression.
I saw one woman whose whole thing is reacting to videos of things being crushed in like a hydraulic press, and she's like, absolutely not, or like, gorgeous. And now she's got like thousands and thousands of followers, so yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, there's that Irish guy I've ever come across, like who just tastes different snacks from around the world, and uh, that's his whole thing.
So when you said that, like, is this animal AI? I came across a frog today called the Southern Darwin's frog. I don't know if you're aware of it.
No, but I'm gonna give it a quick Google now,
At
unless
least
you've
the
got something
image
you
that
can share.
I don't. Can I share on the
Yeah, you can share
podcast?
screen.
Oh yeah. Okay. God. Entire screen. Yeah, why not? This one. It looks like a leaf.
Yes, I have come across it before. That is
It's
so
so
cool.
cute.
Yeah, it looks like someone kind of like an AI image of a leaf that
Yeah.
looks like a frog that looks like a leaf or something. Yeah.
So yeah, you won't believe it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there's any other videos that I took inspiration from. No, I should have brought my worksheet with me.
I just,
Yeah, like that's maybe one idea. I don't know. Have you had any thoughts about what might what might work on? You've made some top trumps like still images, which I
yeah.
like. But I again will have to test them. I mean, video is always preferred by these platforms these days.
Well, so you say that, and I know that definitely was the case, but I did hear there was recently an update that has made like carousels of photography or images or whatever, say like multiple photos in the same post that you can scroll through with, and you can add music to that now. And apparently, there's like that's now a good way of getting non-follower viewers on your other stuff as well as
Ah.
videos. So I don't think it's as much. Before it was, yeah, there's no point in posting anything that isn't a video because no one will ever see it unless they follow you. But apparently, yeah, carousels are a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, these kind of top trump things, which we'll talk about later, because I think we're going to have a little game of top trumps instead of a quiz today. The idea was to kind of start to introduce the potential animals and plants that we might feature on our designs, and kind of, it's kind of like a fun way of,
Introduce them.
yeah, introducing them and just introducing the different kind of things that we might start talking about more, like what is the different categories of vulnerability on the IUCN red
Yeah.
list, and
Yeah.
or like what kind of animals are we going to feature? Are we only featuring animals that have a decreasing trend in what do you call it?
A decreasing trend in numbers left.
Yeah, and then how do we calculate the numbers? And yeah, and like just
Yeah. How did you find finding the data? Because I guess a lot of what we've been talking about is like, yeah, it'll be fine. We'll find the numbers. We'll find like if you found because you want to find images. I guess that can't be that straightforward for a lot of them.
oh,
And
that's a whole other thing. Is like if we uh if we did. Well, I was just posting things on Instagram, so imagining we don't need to license images. If we did,
yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
fine.
want to sell some top trumps at some point, that would be an issue.
Yeah, that would be something we'd have
Um,
to think about. But yeah, the numbers, like how are you
the numbers,
finding?
though, on yeah, so like I've been using the IUCN website, which is they're an organization who collect information about endangered species, and I
Yeah,
can't remember like exactly how to describe
they have
themselves.
what's called the red list, which is like the endangered species list that everyone refers to.
Yeah, and it's really good. Like every animal has its own page, and that page has like a map of where they're found, and there's lots of information about how many are remaining in the wild, like what they are, what level of vulnerability they are. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? Is it stable? And loads of other information. But I did find that not all of that information is complete for, I'd say, only 20% probably of the animals that are on there have an estimated population number to go along with the animal,
Mm.
which or yeah, so that's one thing, and or it's like quite a wide range, so it'd be like
Mm.
100 to 2,000 remaining.
And I think in that case, we just openly say, transparently say, this is a range estimated. We're going to pick the middle or
Yeah,
something. I think that's
yeah,
fine.
and then some of it, like some of the data for some animals is like less. So yeah, it's just looking here. For example, the hooded vulture,
Yeah.
131,000 remaining, and that was last assessed in July 2021.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas I don't know who's this guy, Miles Robber Frog, only only
Sounds like a musical artist.
yeah, only 49 remaining.
Wow.
But that hasn't been assessed since March 2019.
Yeah.
What if
Who
they all died
knows?
of COVID?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that is a well-known thing with this. Like, obviously, assessments are
You can't
they're always going to be
constantly.
estimates. Like finding every single individual very difficult. And with a lot of these, like with the extinction thing, like declaring an animal officially extinct takes like a long, long
Mm,
time. And animals that they are suspected extinct in the wild, occasionally they find
they crop up.
one, or through new technology like camera traps are getting better. Like there's acoustic recorders that can record for longer and bigger range for things like birds that make noise and frogs that make noise. There's like environmental DNA you can use to like find species based on their DNA they leave behind in the soil or in the air even
Yeah.
now, like a bat fart on the wind.
Nice. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's another thing, is it kind of skews what we're looking at to a certain degree. Like, so none of the kind of top trump things that I made feature any fish, because there's just, for quite obvious reasons, no estimates about fish numbers.
Numbers, yeah.
For some of the like whales, there's some estimations, But yeah, actually there was one like giant fungi that I found, but a lot of the
Yeah.
like fungi lichen kind of stuff has no estimations, and a lot of the plant.
And do we just like pick for those like like I don't know a number like a percentage or like is there a way we
Yeah,
can
I think we just
pick
need
a number?
to.
'Cause I would hate to rule out like an entire section of the animal kingdom
Yeah,
or
me
a
too.
whole like
The whole point is that everything's as important as each other, so I feel like we
yeah.
need to feature everything.
And we'll naturally gravitate to more towards like mammals and stuff because the data on them is easier to find. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we have maybe within category, like for ones where we can get a definite number, yeah. But within category, like you say with fish, maybe we just if they're critically endangered or if they're near extinction or whatever, we use that as a like a different
Yeah,
category and just release the number based on that.
yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea. And like lichen as well. I have a fascination with lichen, and I think it
You
looks cool.
liken it
Yes, very good. I have a lichen for
for lichen.
lichen.
I can imagine. I bet that's already on a t-shirt.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of
Definitely on the
t-shirt we're doing. If it is, I'm leaving.
after a year of planning, like we just release
If we
50
commission,
million t-shirts. I have a liking for this lichen.
if we commission a local artist to make a t-shirt about lichen, and that's what they come back with, God.
We're having there's a no puns policy.
I mean, I don't want to.
No, there's a no puns policy.
Okay, fine. Yeah,
You know, if you can prove us wrong and that it can be done well,
yeah,
I've never seen it done that well. You know, it's a different niche. It's a different type
it's
of t-shirt.
different.
It's fine.
What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I guess I also found it, which is something I've not really thought about, and I think maybe you have more than me, but it's just something quite interesting about seeing them all side by side.
Hmm.
For example,
Imagining them all living together
yeah, yeah,
like
the
some
big cow.
dysfunctional family.
No, but so there's things like the snow leopard, which I was, I guess that's like one of the high-profile
Yeah.
mammals that quite a lot of people are aware of as like this very elusive, like endangered animal. Seeing that there's like 3,000 left next to, I don't know, this Mexican jackrabbit, which I've never even heard of, and there's only 300 of them, and it's just like quite
Yeah.
interesting because that
I think
rabbit's
that is interesting. Yeah, because that just shows you, isn't it? It's the glamour. The snow leopards are cool, and they've done, you know, the ghost cat, as they're also
yeah.
known. There's that like mystery around them, but there's so much of so many species out there we don't know about, and yeah, that's one of the reasons I think we wanted to start doing this was because there's loads of animals that you deserve to be recognised, even if they're not, you know, the most exciting to look at. And a lot of them are, like that frog that you mentioned before, that I not many people will have seen, is really cool. So there are examples of animals that
Yeah, they
are really
don't
fascinating.
always have to be mundane, but I think
Yeah, and I'm sure you could always find something out about any animal that's interesting. I bet like that
yeah,
jackrabbit might not look that amazing, but I bet like the reasons for it being vulnerable might be interesting, like the habitats it lives in or how it's adapted, like would be interesting. So yeah,
I think everything's interesting if you take the time to look properly.
yeah,
I also found it interesting that so okay, if you haven't if you don't follow us on Instagram, then you should.
yeah. I'll
First
put a
place.
link in the description.
But if you don't and you haven't seen these kind of top Trump style cards that I put together, mm, there's a bit of information that's just generic that isn't part of the actual statistics. I've got like the kingdom, the habitat, and the location it can be found. That was also tricky because some of them live in like 10
The
different
sea.
habitats. Yeah, well, no, and there's not enough space to write all of them.
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just did the top one. And then I've got for the categories lifespan, remaining population, population trend, and the IUCN Red List category.
Nice. Yeah, I like
So
it.
I found it very interesting that, say, for example, there's the red crowned turtle, which is found in wetlands in India. Lifespan of 25 years. Remaining population is only 500, but the population trend is stable and it's critically endangered.
Mm.
And then, I don't
I
know.
guess they must know where they are and like be able to monitor them really well and be able to track the numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they don't move very quickly.
Yeah. Whereas, like, some of them, they'll be. Um, well, this one, for example, is a tree in Madagascar called the Renella, and it's endangered. Population trend is decreasing, but the remaining population is 1 million.
Right.
So it's like I just find it like it can still be endangered, but there'll be absolutely loads. I thought that
Yeah.
was quite interesting.
Yeah, and like I think I'd need to look more into how the IUCN categorize things, but I think it is a lot of it's to do with the way it's trending
mm,
or like the threat. I think the threats that they have as well. So if something's like really vulnerable or it's in a certain region or something, they
yeah,
can
so it's like
be
an
classed up.
imminent climate related.
Yeah, exactly. Like and that million, like that's yeah, in terms of trees and or a plant, that's really not very many, and it means they're super vulnerable to yeah any sort of disease because you've not got the genetic variation. So if anything comes in, they're more likely to all get killed. So yeah, I was
Yeah.
like that whole figure that we've used previously of like 3 species go extinct every hour. That includes microbes and fungi that are microscopic.
Mm,
So we're never gonna, even if you could see those, there could be billions, but if a lot of them aren't even discovered and are just going extinct just without us even knowing about it. So we're never going to be able to include those on a t-shirt, unfortunately. But the whole point is that it's a jumping off point and we can try and highlight as many of these interesting species that people haven't heard of as possible. We're never going to be able to do everything.
yeah.
And, finding clever ways. If I would love to get things like that tree on, if I don't want to have to release 1 million t-shirts.
Limited to 1 million.
Yeah, so maybe we find a way of like ranking plant or tree species or something in a better way.
But
Like 1 million actually equals 1,000, and then
yeah.
we do a ratio somehow.
Although I don't know, or we just are more selective. Yeah, we could do a ratio, but then there's this kind of fern thing that I found. There's 8,000 left. There's like an orchid where there are only like 200 left. Yeah, 200 of the Himalayan Cypripedium
Oh wow.
Tibetan orchid thing.
So
So I
there's
feel like,
plenty we probably should be going at. I think
yeah,
it's,
that's what I guess.
it's a problem for future us to think about. We've probably got a good 100 t-shirts we can
Yeah,
do before it starts
there's
becoming an issue.
definitely lots of ones where there's good information with a wide variety of
Mm.
different things. Right. Because I guess that's what we want, like a wide variety of like the type of species, like plant, fish, bird, whatever, mammal, but then also like quite a global spread.
Yeah.
And then also a spread of like how weird and unknown versus like I don't think we want. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do you imagine we ever do one with like a panda on?
Well, I think I want to build with the audience. If there's enough demand for certain things, then yeah. But
Yeah,
I think a big part of the mission was to highlight animals that people aren't aware of. So I definitely think that's going to be later down the line, and we've got plenty to be going at
yeah,
to start with. I'd rather bring attention to the weird and the wonderful because a picture of a panda on a t-shirt isn't going to grab someone's. Even if it might be amazing artwork, so it might, but like it's not
the
going to
story is
make
not.
someone. Yeah, the story's not there as easily and that's part of the whole point is to grab people's attention and be a jumping off point for
Yeah,
conversations with people about this stuff. So,
yeah, agree.
but I like this for the Top Trumps idea, and I'd love to get people's feedback and stuff. And do leave a comment of what you think of Matt's designs and stuff once he's posted them.
I
It's a good
think
way to start because we hadn't really started talking about what species you might include. So just to start putting stuff out there, getting people interested, starting some of the things that all the species we've talked about between just the two of us, like putting like that frog and things like that, like, just sharing those before we do the t-shirts is to whet people's appetite, I think is a good idea.
yes, agreed. I think yeah. If I did to make more, I might change the format a bit so I can get a little bit more info on them. But yeah, let us know what you think.
Shall we have a game of top trumps then?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, pick a random one, and then you can choose. You can go first, so you choose the category. I'm guessing the higher the number, the better. But then, I guess population trend would be you want it to be increasing, and for IUCN red list category, I need to. That goes extinct in the wild, critically endangered, vulnerable, near threat, least concern. So I guess like the closer you are to least concern, that's good. So you would win.
Okay, so you're going with low is good for that one.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
we should be celebrating. And
No, that's true. That's true. Okay, so we'll celebrate the good, the positive things.
yeah,
Okay, I'll start. I'm going to start with the common minke whale, and I'm going to go with remaining population 200,000.
okay. Yeah, so I've got the fossa here, and sadly, there's only 8,000 of those. So okay, I lose him. Then do you get? How does top trumps work? Do you get to keep going with the whale? You're not allowed to keep using that.
No, no, just because if you had a card that was the highest, you knew it was the highest, you just keep using that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go on to the next card. I keep going. So I'm on to the snow leopard. And I'm going to go with, I feel like you can't really do population trend because it's only two categories, right?
There's three. There's
Okay.
stable and increasing and decreasing. I have to say, spoiler alert, they're almost all decreasing.
Yeah, well, that's sad. I'll go IUCN reckless category vulnerable.
Okay, so I got the white-bellied Synclodes, Peruvian bird, which I think is probably one of the worst cards I can have. He's critically endangered, population decreasing. There's only 250 of them, and they only live until they're 4. Next.
I've now got the Himalayan Cypripedium. It's a plant. I should have been saying the stuff, shouldn't I? The facts. So this is a plant found in shrubland habitat in Tibet.
Nice.
And I'm going to go with lifespan 30.
Ooh. This is interesting.
Can you read what it is and where it's found as well?
Yes, I've got the Brygioporus nobilissimus, which is
Right.
a forest growing fungi found in
Wow.
America. And I'm sad to say that its lifespan is 33 years.
You're back in control.
Back in the game. I'm glad you chose that one because there's only 140 of them left.
Wow.
It's basically this giant like mushroom thing. It looks very
Yeah.
cool. Okay, next I'm using the Telfair skink. It's the little skink found in
little
the
lizard thing, yeah.
shrubland of Mauritius. And I'm gonna say population trend increasing.
So I've got the Puerto Rican nightjar, which is a very cute little thing.
Yeah, that's such a cute
It's
bird.
a bird, lives in forests in Puerto Rico, obviously. And yeah, unfortunately, it's decreasing. You knew you were on to winner
I
there.
know.
That's 2-2. So should this be the decider?
Yeah, I think so.
This is the decider. Wow.
And I'm in
Okay.
control. Oh, it's not it's not a strong hand. It's the Ako Hekohe, which
Right.
is a little forest dwelling bird in Hawaii.
Oh.
It looks like the kind of bird you'd find in Hawaii as well. Very tropical looking, very cute. Oh, it's tough. I'm going to go for remaining population 1,800.
Well, I've got the Twentepec jackrabbit, who you talked about before.
Yeah.
It's a rabbit, unsurprisingly. It lives in the savannah region of Mexico. It's really cool. Looks like a hare, like with giant ears. And sorry, what did you say? We went for the
Remaining population 1,800.
Oh, only 300. You win.
Oh, sad. Yeah.
Well done. Well done. What
Yeah.
a dark
I
game.
know, it's quite more dark than I expected. It's like, yay, there's less of that animal
Yeah.
remaining.
Yeah. But
But it's
I
like,
do, I like the cars and looking through them. I think they really look good on Instagram with the black and white. So,
okay,
and it's just that again, like these are species of some of them, like the snail I've heard and the minke whale I have heard of, but the Puerto Rican nightjar was a brand new one to me. So, yeah, as sad as it is to hear about all these animals that I don't even know about, that decreasing in population and vulnerable to extinction, that's the whole point of what we're doing.
yeah, I feel maybe next, if I do some more, maybe including some more success stories about ones that have increased and are doing a bit better.
Yeah,
Whereas it's
every so
very much,
often we should. I've been trying to share on like the no longer known stories on the Instagram, like some when there's a success story. Like
mm,
the Iberian lynx is a great one. It's like
yeah,
up from when we went to see, it's sort of increased like fourfold to
yeah,
like
that's good.
2,000 or something now, from down to like 200 at one point. Although apparently there was some, I haven't looked into this in great detail, but the EU are like getting rid of a law which is basically, or funding, which was responsible for that turnaround and a lot of the work that's been done there. So it was slightly bittersweet, but that headline. But yeah, definitely we should start sharing some more success stories because there are some out there, and it's like with anything, you need to hear some that it's possible to turn things around
Yeah,
because yeah, otherwise it's a bit doom and gloom.
yes. And maybe it's a slightly more fun game if they're not all on the
Yeah,
brink. Nice.
but yeah, I think that's probably a wrap.
That's it for the day. Yes, cool. What's next on your to-do list then?
Good question. I do want to do a few video ideas that I've got after that course and share them with you and get your thoughts, and then put some out there and test them. Uh, what will I cut in half? Hopefully not an endangered
Yeah.
species. But yeah, like I feel like it's a necessary. I don't want to say necessary evil, but it definitely has to be part of our strategy of building and growing an audience. So I want to do it in a way that's not too cringy and finding, just testing, seeing what works, and finding things that will fit with what we're trying to do. So that's my plan. How about you?
I still have a few. I still haven't posted anything on my personal Instagram account, really. So doing some of that would be good. I also want to sew some labels into my no longer known test samples just to see what it
Mm,
looks like. But I need to find a sewing kit to do that.
wow.
But yeah, I don't know. Apart from that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, just it's a tricky point because we've just got, it's just all about building audience now and keeping momentum going. I think I'm just going to keep trying to find other ways to reach people.
Yeah.
And if you have any ideas or thoughts, or
Well, yeah,
maybe
that's
trying to
something.
find brands that are doing well, that have done, and trying to figure out what they did well. Because yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Try and find some inspiration of how to get noticed without being a meme.
Okay, I'll leave that with you. So that's our challenge, is to try and, like, by the time we do the next podcast, we'll have put out a video, at least one video, to test this hypothesis and see if we can create something that works.